I also want to go over how to just make regular old JavaScript cookies instead of using the jQuery links. This way, if I'm not online, I don't have to worry about it reaching out to link something from another page on the internet. I got this from www.quirksmode.org/js/cookies.html. Cookies. On this page, I give three functions to save, read, and erase cookies. Using these functions, you can manage cookies on your site. First, an introduction to cookies and a summary of document.cookie, followed by an example. Then come the three functions and their explanations. Cookies. Cookies were originally invented by Netscape to give memory to web servers and browsers. The HTTP protocol, which arranges for the transfer of web pages to your browser and browser requests for pages to servers, is stateless, which means that once the server has sent a page to a browser requesting it, it doesn't remember a thing about it. So if you come to the same web page a second, third, hundredth, or millionth time, the server once again considers it the very first time you ever came there. This can be annoying in a number of ways. The server cannot remember if you identified yourself when you went to access protected pages. It cannot remember your user preferences. It cannot remember anything. And as soon as personalization was invented, this became a major problem. Cookies were invented to solve this problem. There are other ways to solve it, but cookies are easy to maintain and very versatile. How cookies work. A cookie is nothing but a small text file that's stored in your browser. It contains some data. 1. A name-value pair containing the actual data. 2. An expiration date after which it's no longer valid. 3. The domain and path of the server it should be sent to. As soon as you request a page from a server to which a cookie should be sent, the cookie is added to the HTTP header. Server-side programs can then read out the information and decide that you have the right to view the page you requested or that you want your links to be yellow on a green background. So every time you visit the site the cookie comes from, information about you is available. This is very nice sometimes. At other times, it may somewhat endanger your privacy. Fortunately, more and more browsers give you the opportunity to manage your cookies, for example, deleting the one from the big ad site. Cookies can be read by JavaScript too. They're mostly used for storing user preferences. Name value. Each cookie has a name-value pair that contains the actual information. The name of the cookie is for your benefit. You will search for this name when reading out the cookie information. If you want to read out the cookie, you search for the name and see what value is attached to it. Read out this value. Of course, you yourself have to decide which value or values the cookies can have and write the scripts to deal with these values. Expiration date. Each cookie has an expiration date after which it is trashed. If you don't specify the expiration date, the cookie is trashed when you close the browser. This expiration date should be in UTC Greenwich time. Domain and path. Each cookie also has a domain and a path. The domain tells the browser to which domain the cookie should be sent. If you don't specify it, it becomes the domain of the page that sets the cookie. In the case of this page, www.quirksmode.org. Please note that the purpose of the domain is to allow cookies to cross subdomains. My cookie will not be read by search.quirksmode.org because its domain is www.quirksmode.org. When I set the domain to quirksmode.org, the search subdomain may also read the cookie. I cannot set the cookie domain to a domain I'm not in. I cannot make the domain www.microsoft.com. Only quirksmode.org is allowed in this case. The path gives you the chance to specify a directory where the cookie is active. So if you want the cookie to be only sent to pages in the directory CGI/bin, then set the path to /CGI/bin. Usually the path is set to /, which means that the cookie is valid throughout the entire domain. The script does so the cookies you can set on this page will be sent to any page in the www.quirksmode.org domain, though only this page has a script that searches for the cookies and does something with them. Document.cookie. Cookies can be created, read, and erased by JavaScript. They are accessible through the property document.cookie. Though you can treat document.cookie as if it's a string, it isn't really, and you have only access to the name value pairs. If I want to set a cookie for this domain with a name value pair pppkcookie1 equals test cookie that expires in 7 days from the moment that I write this sentence, I do document.cookie equals, and then in single quotes, ppkcookie1 equals test cookie, semicolon, expires equals THU for Thursday, comma, 2 aug for August 2001, and then 20:47:11 for the time, UTC, semicolon, path equals /, and then you end your single quote. Number one, first we had the name value pair, which was ppkcookie1 equals test cookie. Number two, then we had a semicolon and a space. Number three, then we had the expiration date in the correct format, expires equals, and then we used the 3-letter THU for Thursday with a comma, 2 August 2001, AUG to shorten for August 2001 is the date, 20:47:11 for the time, and UTC, all in single quotes. Number four, again a semicolon and a space, and five, then the path, which was path equals /. This is a very strict syntax. Don't change it. Of course, the script manages these dirty bits for you. Also, even though it looks like I'm writing this whole string to the string document.cookie, as soon as I read it out again, I only see the name value pair pkcookie1 equals test cookie. If I want to set another cookie, I again do document.cookie equals ppkcookie2 equals another test, semicolon, expires equals fry for Friday, comma, 3 aug for August 2001, 20:47:11 for the time, UTC, semicolon, path equals /, all in single quotes. The first cookie is not overwritten, as it would when document.cookie would be a real string. Instead, the second one is added to document.cookie. So if we read it out, we get ppkcookie1 equals test cookie, colon, or semicolon, and ppkcookie2 equals another test. If I reset a cookie, this is how you would reset. Now remember, when we created ppkcookie2 equals another test, here we're going to reset. We're going to say ppkcookie2 equals, and we're going to give it another assignment. This is going to be assigned yet another test instead of just another test. So if I reset a cookie, document.cookie equals ppkcookie2 equals yet another test, semicolon, expires equals Friday, comma, 3 August 2001, 20:47:11, UTC, semicolon, path equals /, then the old cookie is overwritten, and then document.cookie reads ppkcookie1 equals test cookie, semicolon, and ppkcookie2 equals yet another test. So it did indeed overwrite. To read out a cookie, you have to treat document.cookie as a string and search for certain characters, semicolons for instance, and for the cookie name. I'll explain how to do it below. Finally, to remove a cookie, set it with an expiration date before today. The browser sees that the cookie has expired and removes it. So here we have document.cookie equals ppkcookie2 equals yet another test, semicolon, expires, and here, provided that August 3rd was the current date, here they're going backwards to a day before August 3rd. So they set this cookie to expires equals Friday, comma, 27 July 2001, with the time being 2:47:11 UTC, semicolon, path equals /. Okay, example. If you're thoroughly confused by all this strange syntax, try the example below. You can set two cookies, ppkcookie1 and ppkcookie2. Fill in the desired value in the text box. The value of the cookie should be blue balls. Create cookie 1. Cookie created, okay. Read cookie 1. The value of the cookie is blue balls. Okay. Create cookie 2. I didn't actually type anything new in there. Okay, read cookie 2. The value of the cookie is blue balls. Okay, let's read document.cookie. They both have the same name. PPK cookie 1 equals blue balls and PPK cookie 2 equals blue balls. And that's not really what I want to do. I want to change the second one to a different name. Red rags, create cookie 2. Cookie created. Now let's read out document.cookie. PPK cookie 1 equals blue balls and PPK cookie 2 equals red rags. So we have 2 cookies. If I reload the page, cookie PPK cookie 1 that you set on a previous visit is still active. Its value is blue balls. Cookie PPK cookie 2 that you set on a previous visit is still active. Its value is red rags. Alrighty. I set the cookie to remain active for 7 days. If you return to this page within that time, you'll get an alert that I just read that the cookies is or are still active. Try it by setting a cookie, then reloading this page, which I already did. I set cookie 1 and cookie 2. I hit refresh, and here again, it's giving us those messages that those cookies are still active. Okie doke, the scripts. These are the 3 scripts that you need. We have 3 functions. Function create cookie, and inside parentheses we have name, comma, value, comma, days. And then we have another function called read cookie within parentheses name. And then we have a third function that says function erase cookie, and in parentheses we have name. So let's go through this one at a time. Function create cookie, parentheses name, comma, value, comma, days. If days, var date equals new date. Date dot set time, and in parentheses date dot get time plus days times 24 times 60 times 60 times 1,000. Then we have var expires equals, and we've got quotes, semicolon, expires equals quotes plus date dot to GMT string. Okay, so then there's the end of the curly braces for the if day statement. The else, var expires equals, and then you have double quotes there with nothing in it. Document.cookie equals name plus, then you have equals in double quotes plus value plus expires plus, and then in double quotes here we have a semicolon, path equals forward slash, and then an ending semicolon. So that was the function create cookie with name, value, days. Here's the function read cookie with name in parentheses. Var name EQ equals name plus, and then you have the equal sign in double quotes and a semicolon. Var CA equals document.cookie.split, and in parentheses and single quotes, a semicolon, and the end of that is a semicolon. Here we have a for loop. For var I equals 0, I less than CA dot length, I plus plus. And inside that for loop, we're going to have this. Var C equals CA with I inside that straight brackets like an index. While, here we have a while loop, while C dot char at, which is talking about characters, 0 equals equals, and then you have nothing in single quotes. C equals C dot substring, and in parentheses L comma C dot length. And then you end that statement with a semicolon. Then you've got if, and in parentheses, C dot index of, and in parentheses name EQ equal to 0 with 2 equal sign, return C dot substring, and in parentheses name EQ dot length comma C dot length, ending parentheses, ending semicolon, and there is the ending curly brace for that for loop. After that you have return null, and then that ends the curly brace for the entire function read cookie with name in parentheses. Finally, our third function says function erase cookie with name in the parentheses. The first curly brace. The only thing that's in the curly braces is create cookie, and in parentheses you have name, comma, double quotes with nothing in it, comma, and then -1. End that statement with a semicolon, and then end that function with its ending curly brace. Wow. Let's go with the explanation. The functions are not very difficult. The hardest part is creating the correct syntax for setting a cookie. Create cookie. When calling create cookie, you have to give it 3 bits of information: the name and the value of the cookie, and the number of days it is to remain active. In this case, the name value pair should become ppk cookie equals test cookie, and it should be active for 7 days. So you have create cookie, ppk cookie in single quotes, comma, test cookie in single quotes, comma, 7. If you set, let me pull up here a little bit. If you set the number of days to 0, then the cookie is trashed when the user closes the browser. If you set the days to a negative number, then the cookie is trashed immediately. The function receives the arguments and starts doing its job. Function create cookie, name, value, days. First of all, see if there is a day's value. If there isn't, we don't need to do the time calculation. So that's where the if days comes in. We're going to see if there's a day's value. If there is a day's value, create a new date object containing the current date. And to do that, you get var date equals new date. Now get the current time in milliseconds and add the required number of days in milliseconds. Set the time of the date to this new value so that it now contains the date in milliseconds so that the cookie should expire. So how we do that is with this statement: date.setTime, and in parentheses date.getTime plus, and in parentheses, days times 24 times 60 times 60 times 1,000. Next, set the variable expires to this date in the UTC GMT format required by cookies. And that's where this statement comes in. Var expires equals, and then you got that single quote, semicolon, expires equals. Actually, I think that is double quotes with a semicolon, a space, the word expires, and the symbol equals. And then we're going to concatenate to that plus date.toGMT string. All right, then it says if 0 is passed to the function, expires is not set, and the cookie expires when the user closes the browser. That's where we get this, else var expires equals, and there's nothing in those double quotes at all. Else var expires, that's basically, when you put nothing in there, it's basically passing it to 0. Finally, write the new cookie into a document.cookie in the correct syntax. And the way we did that was document.cookie equals name plus equals in the double quotes plus value plus expires plus, and then in the final double quotes, the semicolon, the space, path equals /. Cookie created. Read cookie. To read out a cookie, call this function and pass the name of the cookie. Put the name in a variable. First, check if this variable has a value. If the cookie does not exist, the variable becomes null, which might upset the rest of your function. Then do whatever is necessary. So by that, we have var x equals read cookie, and then in parentheses ppk cookie1. If x, and then we have here in these straight brackets, do something with x. So the function receives the argument and starts. Function read cookie, name in parentheses. We're going to search for the name of the cookie, followed by an equals. So create this new string and put it in name EQ. So we create a variable called name EQ by using the keyword var. Var name EQ equals name plus the equal sign, and we're putting the equal sign as a string literal, and we're putting it in double quotes, and don't forget the semicolon that ends that statement. Then split document cookie on then split document.cookie on semicolons. .ca becomes an array containing all cookies that are set for this domain and path. Okay, this is getting a little confusing. var ca equals document.cookie.split. And then we have a semicolon enclosed in single quotes and parentheses. Then we go through the array, so through all cookies. So we're going to go through it by using this for loop. For var I equals 0, I less than ca.length, I plus plus. Set c to the cookies to be checked. Var c equals ca with a I in the straight brackets. If the first character is a space, remove it by using the substring method. Continue doing this until the first character is not a space. So that is accomplished with this line of code. While, and in parentheses, c.char at 0 equals, and then there's nothing in the single quotes. C equals c.substring, and in the parentheses, L, c.length. Now string begins with the name of the current cookie. If this is the name of the desired cookie, so if c.index of, and in parentheses, name eq is equal to 0, we've found what we were looking for. We now only need to return the value of the cookie, which is the part of C that comes after name eq. By returning this value, we also end the function mission accomplished. If c.index of name eq equals 0, return c.substring, and in parentheses name eq.length, c.length. If after having gone through all the cookies we haven't found the name we're looking for, the cookie is not present and will return null. So here is the return null statement and the ending curly brace. Cookie red. And here is the explanation of erasing the cookie. Erasing is extremely simple. Erase cookie and then in parentheses and single quotes ppk cookie. Pass the name of the cookie to be erased. Function erase cookie and in parentheses name. And call create cookie to set the cookie with an expiration date of 1 day ago. Create cookie and then in parentheses name, comma, double quotes with nothing in it, comma, -1. Ending semicolon and ending curly brace. The browser, seeing that the expiration date is passed, immediately removes the cookie. And that concludes this particular video. I am going to try the jQuery function that I got from hibberd.eu in order to try to come up with my checkbox data persistence. And I'm also going to try the JavaScripts as shown in this particular video. I'm going to try both methods and see if they both work equally as good. One is going to be dependent on whether I'm online or not, because it's using pulling in external sheets from other websites, and this JavaScript code that I just went over here should work even if I'm not online. So that's going to be it for this. I'm going to try both and then put my results in a third video.